was Saturday. We was down in Louisville, Kentucky, and we met A-Bomb79, Brian Block, and Steve Summers. A lot of viewers and subscribers. We got back here in Michigan at 4:30 this morning, and we have Karl and Linda Schuler. They contacted us and said that they were going to be here in Holland for this weekend and wanted to know if they can stop by and visit. And so, did you subscribe to the channel as well, or just viewers? You know of our channel.
Yeah, I'm subscribed
and
to
so
the channel.
subscribed.
And I've watched it, and I knew that Steve was in Western Michigan. I wasn't sure where, but we came into town to Holland to go to a Carousel Organ Association rally. I'm in the process of building a hand crank 20-note organ, and wanted to see the kind of organs that people had and maybe pick up some information on how to get mine a little better tuned, and just look at the other organs. And it turns out it was 10 minutes away from Steve's place here, so we're going to take a tour of the shop and take a look at the grinder. I've got a grinder that I started to restore, but I get a little more information from Steve. I know I've watched his videos on getting set up with the grinder, so that's the main thing I'm going to try and get.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I got here just at the right time. Steve's finished making the 3/8 boring bar, and there was one of them, and I thank him for that.
You're welcome. I hope you get good use out of it.
Yeah.
And so,
I hope so too. I have no idea what it is.
so I asked them where they're from, and they're from Portland and Texas, and they go back and forth. And so you have machine equipment in both places, right?
Yep. We got a shop in Texas that's kind of the big shop, and we spend about 6-7 months of the year there, and then up in Oregon this year we're only spending 4 months up there, but I have a shop up there. And in Oregon I'm building a steam engine, a locomotive 7.5-inch gauge. And down in Texas, I'm building the crank organ, or what are you going to call it, the busker organ. And other projects in Texas, I mentor for a robotics team, so they're always after me to do some machining that they can't do. So that's what I basically do.
And then if you notice, he's wearing a Bar G Summer Bass shirt. He was there last year.
2 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyhow, the first time we went was this year, so that was kind of nice. He's got a T-shirt from there. It'd been nice if we could have met it, the same one, but that's good. We just sat down. We had some wet burritos, and so what we're going to do, we're going to go out in the shop, and Linda's going to stay and visit with the wife and daughters, and we're going to go over there and probably show Karl some of the stuff we're doing. We'll continue the video out there. Is because even though I got a slow RPM motor on there, I got a higher surface foot here, lower surface foot here, so depending on what material,
you can change it.
Yeah.
And I was going to build a variable speed one with a DC motor. I still have a DC motor. It's a 2 horse, and I got a big aluminum plate, but one of those jobs that never got done.
Yeah. Let me grab this fixture a minute.
Okay, there's the grinding.
Yeah, that's a boring bar fixture. It's all ground on the bottom, so it's nice.
Yeah, and I remember you said one of the gals crowned the top.
Yeah, that was Kathy. She did an awesome job on it. In fact, I don't know if there's... Yeah, just try to lift that up a little.
Oh yeah, she did a nice job.
Yeah, it's flat when...
you can't get it off the plate.
So yeah, we basically have that, and then we have these little inserts. They got the 1/2-inch bars that they're working on. Yeah, actually, I gotta pull that pin out because we used last time they used it. We were fixing up some of the 3/8 bars that.
So you had to index over that.
Yeah, so we
clamp hole.
Yeah, and get that down. No, but basically that's now I'm showing it and it's wanting to act up a little bit, so. There you go.
Yeah, I think I was too down.
Still okay. There we go. Yeah, that's loose. I think maybe, I thought I had that setting. Yeah.
Is it? Wait, no, it's still. There we go.
Oh, I get some screws that were way down.
Way down.
Yeah, they must have put some bigger ones in there because usually I had the shorter ones for clearance. But yeah, anyways, yeah, it just slides in there and it stops on the front. And so the way we process this, you got the three pivot points that have to take this screw. But we get the three pivot points, you know, so we call it position 1, position 2, position 3, so you can do the different pocket work. And so we use a straight end mill, and then here's some that are using. Here's the 11-degree tapered end mill that we actually put the pocket to match the insert. And but yeah, we can build the whole bar that way. And then we made some inserts, that can go in there to reduce down to 3/8. And what I'll be doing now when we do these new 3/4 inch bars that I'm going to be making, we'll make a whole different unit over here. So I'll use probably 3/4 inch bars, and I'll probably keep it in mind for doing 1 inch bars. So we'll have this whole unit for the 1/2 inch and 3/8. We'll have a different unit for the 3/4 and 1 inch. And then the other thing that we'll do is I'm actually going to design things a little different for those bars, which will be actually even nicer and easier to use than this. So here's a couple of the little side plates. We're almost done with them. I got a jig grind hose on them and fit the pins to them. And
Now, you said you had a jig board too?
yes, we got it's a more number 1.
More number 1, yeah.
And what's interesting, you can see we got right now we're just setting the finished boring bars. We're doing our second set of 200 bars. That's what the kids are doing. But this is just more number 1. And it was interesting because the first shop I worked in, or well, actually close to the first shop, was a gauge shop out of a gauge here in Holland. And they had 2 number 1 more jig grinders in there. And so there was a machinery repair place in I think Spring Lake, Michigan, if I remember right. I can't remember the name of the company. They had number 1 more for sale, and the price was good. So I had the digital, and I walked in there, and I started talking, and I wanted to see the machine, and asked them where it came from. They said, a gauge shop out of Holland. I said, what gauge shop? And they said, Auto Gauge. Well, when I worked there, back when I was 18 years old, this machine was in there. This came out of the shop that I worked in.
Yeah, how about that?
I didn't work on them over there, but I seen them working and everything. And so it's pretty good. It can do some accurate work. I know that it cuts at, in 2 inches, there's about 2 or 3 tenths taper that way. I don't know enough how to work that out, but I got things wrote down here when I'm grinding the low precision sine bar. So if I indicate in 3 inches and have that drop down 1.3 inches,
Yeah.
and actually 3.5 inches, and then the center of the hole, if I go 4 inches, 1 thou and 4 tenths, I'm going to get an exact 4 inches, and plus everything's nice and straight, so I just compensate that way for now. And this is working good. In the future, I got my eyes on, you see them a lot of times, good prices is the more number 3. That's what I use at my full-time job. And I'm a lot more comfortable with that. I got a lot of hours on this. This number 1 works nice, but some of the mechanisms here are wore out, so to get all the automatic feed, I'd have to replace all that and get it rebuilt. But I just use it by hand. I mean, for the little I do, it works great. Sure. So like I say, somewhere down the line, we're going to look at getting one of them number 3s in here, and we'll like that. And this one has been altered, where they put an extension in, right down here you can see they got these risers so that you got more Z.
That's right.
So that works out pretty good. So
yeah, nice machines. They were certainly the king of the day back then.
yeah. And again, for this thing being probably 50, 60 years old. I mean, it goes back when I was 18, and I thought it was kind of old then. The accuracy that you have on that thing is still awesome.
I guess I was watching one of Stefan's videos, and apparently the shop he works at got rid of their more, and he wound up with some of the tooling.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's got a more rotary table.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
See, and I never even knew more made rotary tables until recently. You know, when I started seeing a lot of Instagram people putting them on there. But if those rotaries are anything like their grinders, they're probably some of the best out there.
Yep.
So, but anyhow, this is the mill that you see in a lot of our videos. It's an Acer. The thing's huge. People a lot of times wonder if I'm just a little guy or if this machine's big. This machine's big. It's almost 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
And so we got a lot of Z. We got a lot of in the Y, and it just comes in handy. It's a longer table, I think 54 inches. But this particular machine I've worked on, I can't even count how many different types of milling machines I've ran. Bridgeports, Chevaliers, Logans. I'll take an Acer over any of them any day. Thing works nice, and I've seen these things in some of the shops I work where people are very abusive, and they seem to hold up better than anything I've seen out there. So, and it's a Taiwan made, but if you know what tools to get from Taiwan, they do have some really nice stuff. They do have some stuff that's cheap, but some of it's really good as well. So, anyhow, we got in here, we got our surface grinder, and Karl, he has a Grizzly 6x18. So you got a similar size, but it's a Grizzly machine. And why don't you give us some history of what you're doing on that?
Well, I bought it, and it had been stored outside in like a patio, and it was pretty well rusted up. So I took things apart, cleaned them up as much as I could, and then I noticed took the vise upside down on a surface plate, and it was the underside of the vise was really bad. So I ground the table, flipped it over, put it down, and I've got the vise dressed pretty well now. So next thing, I guess, is to make some of those special stones, like the Renzetti stones, I guess you call them. So that's the first thing I want to do. And I know you made a fixture that uses a hinge.
Yeah, I think they're right down here. So this is what Karl's talking about right there.
Little fixture to hold things down on the plate. So there's a nice job.
Yeah. So that let's see if we can raise the wheel. I need to get a power feed on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just use a piece of metal, good and flat, so I don't mess up the magnet. But just pop that on there. So we got this up against the back rail. So anyhow, I used the zip tie in the past, but I just got a piece of wire right here. You stick that down in here. You flip that over. And what that does is it holds this plate up a little bit. And at that point, you turn your magnet on. I put it on full. You take it off. You can tap that down just a little bit. Go ahead and feel that, how tight that's holding that in there. Yeah. So if you got something that's not magnetic, like these bench stones, and you guys have seen the videos where Robin Renzetti, he made these bench stones. These things work great, and I say over and over that these are worth their weight in gold. And I was talking with Robin the other day, and I told him, I says, every time I use these stones, I'm saying in my mind, thank you, Robin, for making that video, because I tell you, these things are awesome. But Robin is going to be making these for sale. He's got a new Mitzi grinder that he's rebuilding. Got a nice peak granite table that he's got. He's got that, he's lapping in and getting that thing really accurate. And what he's got a different type of stone. He's filling them with epoxy. And as great as these things are, the new stones that Robin is making, it's like these on steroids. So they're going to be way better than these. And these work awesome. I can't imagine how good the ones that he got is epoxy filled. And he says one of the things that you have with the epoxy filled ones is these ones you got to clean all the time to get some of the metal particles and stuff out. He says over there you don't have a problem. He says you just put some, I believe, with alcohol, wipe that off on there, and you're good to go. So he's got a new recipe. He's keeping that some of those secrets to himself, and I don't blame him. But I tell you what, if you want some stones that are awesome for grinding, right there, these stones are perfect, and the new ones Robin are making are going to be even better yet. So anyhow, this is one of the ways that you can hold non-magnetic material. Of course, what we're using was magnet.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't going to move, was it? Here, I'm sitting there, let's see if you can move it. It wasn't going to move because of the magnet.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the stones, you pop them on there, they hold just as tight as what the magnet just about holds it.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I noticed your back rail, is that reversible so you can get a little extra?
Yeah, the back rail, I don't know if you can get up there where you can see it good or not, Adam, but the back rail I can bolt it on reversible because I got quite a bit of over travel on this machine from the magnet. And so I made a short rail so that I can put it in different positions as well. And what's nice, if I have it over here, if you've seen how I use that spin fixture when I'm doing ID grinding, I have it against the back rail over here where it's nice. If I need something that I need to line up at 90 degrees to that, I can either position it in this place or I can put a 90-degree template in here and put my parts up. And the nice thing about not having the rail here, if I got long parts that need to overlap, I don't have to move my rail off all the time. So it's reversible as well as movable, and it actually works really nice. And just, you know, because sometimes you're grinding long stuff, sometimes you got stuff you want hanging over the edge, you know. You want to turn your spin fixture sideways, it just works great.
You side wheeled both sides of that.
Yeah, and anytime this is soft, anytime that you reposition this or flip it around, you always want to address the back end of your wheel where there's just a nice little lip, and then you want to side wheel that to make it super accurate again. Right. So that's just a habit you want to get into if you're doing high precision work. So, but yeah, it's the grinder we have, and you were talking about when you pulled your magnet off that you had all the buildup on that, and so you're working that all in, and
yeah.
So
when you go to address the wheel for side wheeling, you basically seem to me you always have to expose yourself to an injury. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I got. I don't have it fully built. You'll be able to set something up like this. Let me see if my single point diamond. Here where you can use a single point diamond. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a holder that will hold a single point diamond in here.
Okay.
And now I can turn this at whatever angle I want. I can come in there and actually I'll have that round holder in there so I can actually, on the fly, rotate whatever angle. Now I'm not going to have to get in there with my hand, and I'm going to have a lot more precision.
Right.
And it's going to be a lot safer.
Yeah.
What I'll use for truing the bottom of the wheel up, it's these cluster diamonds. I love them. They in my opinion, I get a better grind, better finish. They last forever. Yeah. And so it just.
And I remember your video where you talk about trying to facet this so that as you rotate it, you always got a nice edge instead of putting it the wrong way around.
Yeah. If you got like this, if you want to have your diamond pointing away from the wheel, most people, they think that that's at an angle because you want to grind off the side of the wheel here so that if it catches, it's not going to kick it under the wheel and really blow things up, but you're off to the side. They think that that's the reason that's on an angle, so you point to the center line. What happens then, if this is your diamond and it's pointing towards your center of your wheel, no matter where you rotate that that point is on the center line of this. Once it gets a flat on, you can never have a new edge. By having it this way, and you can actually go that way, you can go that way, you can go that way. You just can't go that way.
Yeah.
But by going that way, what happens when you grind and you get a flat, it's kind of like the chamfer. Well, then you get a flat edge, you rotate it up, and now you got a sharp edge that you left, and you rotate it again, you got a sharp edge. You rotate it again, and so you can keep rotating it, and so with the single point diamond, you can use that for years, and it'll cut good. But once you use that diamond this way a few times, and you get a flat on the end, might as well throw that diamond away. Either that or use it for roughing your wheel out by hand. The other thing that a boron stick right here, that works really great for hogging, getting in there and doing the side of your wheel if you want to dish it and everything. So you can save on your diamonds by using that. So that works really nice. So
yeah. The other thing I remember from your videos is the popsicle stick.
Yep, I got a whole drawer full of those. You can see they fell apart right there, the one packet, but always keep these, keep them handy, and you can see what I'm doing. In this case, if you need like a 1/16 of an inch radius on your wheel, and it's not a real fussy, it's just kind of open two-place decimal, maybe plus or minus 5,000. You can use a borite stick, and you can do that by hand. But in order to measure it, take a wooden popsicle stick. After you dress it, stick it in there. Stick your radius gauges in here, and then you can see how close you are. So it's a real fast way. You don't have to set up your radius dresser, get it all set up. You can do it real quick, and so that works out real nice. We got a video that I'm planning on doing where I'm going to use this wheel. And if a lot of you guys follow me, you know that the two biggest issues for grinding, that in my opinion, is having a proper wheel for the proper job. So it's wheel selection, and then it's the dressing and truing. Those are the two biggest things. They'll compensate for a lot of area. But this wheel is a Radiac. It's a Ruby. It's an RA100. It's a harder wheel, an L5. And if you know, I always like using the 46 grit wheel for the general grinding. I haven't really gone into any grinding showing you where a good use for some of your harder wheels and your finer grit wheels is. But let me grab a piece here a minute. I think I had it sitting here the other day, but the kids cleaned out. So, here it is right here. I've had a job, a couple jobs now, where I had to take a 3/16 diameter pin, and I had to grind this back 1.8 inches, almost 2 inches, and I had to take it from a 3/16 diameter down to a 150 thousandths diameter. If I use this wheel, which is a 46, it's an open porous wheel, I can come down, and I always, if my spin fixture is where my hand is, I always like to start at this end and then work this way. And that way I can keep the sharp edge up close to the corner that I'm going. But with this wheel, as I would be going across, I would come down and wind down just a half thou, so it'd be a thou per side, or a thou total. I would get to about this point, and then all of a sudden you can see this thing vibrate and shake and make a noise. There's no way this wheel, one of my favorite wheels, there's no way this wheel is going to grind this down. What I would do is I take this wheel. It's a harder bonding. It's an RA100. That means there's a lot more cutting edges on there. That Ruby is just a super sharp structure. What I would do is I'd true this wheel up. It's a 1/4 inch thick. I'd true it up, and then once I got it where I'm satisfied, I'll wind my table up 3 thousandths, and then I'll come and I'll remove half of this, so I only got 1/8 of an inch land. I can take this almost 2 inches back, come down 1 thousandths per side, 2 thousandths total, and I can grind from 187 thousandths down without dressing it again, all the way down. I've already went down to 150 thousandths, and there will be no taper in the pin, nothing supporting the end, it's just hanging out, and that just shows you the difference of getting the right wheel for the right job. And so that's one of the upcoming videos I plan on doing. I want to see how far out I can stick it and how small of a diameter I can get before this wheel can't handle it anymore. I need to know that information for myself. I need to push the limits. Because those are some of the things when you're doing job shop stuff you just need to know. So, but anyways, just keep your eyes out if you're interested in something like that. It'll be a future video.